Hello students, how are you? Welcome to the materials for English 1 for Diploma 3 with me, Miss Mona Lisa Pasaribu. And for this week 5, we'll be talking about the topic of advertisement. So, let us check the material for this week. Now, before we move on, we will have the outline for this video. We'll have a quick review on the materials last week, and then we'll discuss about the advertisement, and we talk about the strategies and a little bit of grammar point, and then we'll do some practice. So let us check the materials. So first of all, as a review from last week, the material for week 4 was about the environment, and we were doing a little bit of models identification and a little bit of writing. Now my question is, how have you done with your writing about the environment? I do hope that you are doing all right with your writing. Again, if you have questions or if you have issues with your writing, please ask me and I'm going to be very happy to answer your question. Also, just a quick reminder for you, in your writing, do not forget to integrate the models that we have learned for week 4 materials. Okay, if you're confused, you can recheck again the video, or you can always ask me. I will be more than happy to answer your question. Okay, now we will go on to the topic for week 5, which is the advertisement, or some people say in a simple way, just ad, or ADV, you name it. Okay, and the topic for advertisement is something that is quite general, and I think not only IT students or computer engineering students are finding the ad, but also people in general or students in general. Okay, now to begin with, I'm going to have some questions over here. Now, where do you actually encounter ad? Where do you usually encounter ad? And then which specific ads stick in your head, that you memorize very much? And then what makes them memorable to you? Or if you have only one, what makes it memorable to you? It depends on whether you have one or more than one. Okay, so for this question, what I want you to do is I want you to answer this by posting it in the comment. Again, with writing your name and then your student ID, and then answer these questions after you put your name and your student ID. Okay, I'm looking forward for your answers for these questions. And then for this one, I don't think you need to post this one. Do you think an ad has an effect on your personal interest? I don't think you need to answer that in the comments in the YouTube. Now we will move on to the definition of the advertisement. What is an advertisement? An advertisement is a notice or announcement in a public medium promoting a product, service, or event, or publicizing a job vacancy. It really depends on the aim of the ad itself, whether it's actually promoting or publicizing something. Okay, now we are talking about the persuasive strategies to advertise. Over here, based on one resource that I was taking, there are 3 ways. It's using pathos, logos, and ethos. So what are these? Let us check one by one. Now we will check pathos. So what is pathos? It is an appeal to emotion. So an advertisement using pathos will attempt to evoke an emotional response in the consumer. Sometimes they use positive, sometimes they use negative. So for example, if it is positive, they use, for example, happiness. an image of people drinking a beverage product. So when they're drinking it, they are feeling happy, they feel joyful. So it's kind of persuading people to drink the same drink like the models is drinking, so that they share the same emotion, which is happiness. Or the other times, the advertisers can also use negative emotions, like for example, fear and guilt. For example, if there's an image of a starving child, to persuade you to send money for donation, for example. Okay, so this is kind of negative emotion, and this is a strategy to persuade people in order to involve or buy one product. Okay, so they are using the pathos strategy. Next, we move on to logos. So logos, an appeal to logic or reason. So what does it mean? So an advertisement using logos will give you evidence and statistics that you need to fully understand what the product does. Like for example, they say one glass of Florida orange contains 75% of your daily vitamin C needs. Or for example, this toothpaste is recommended by 9 out of 10 dentists, for example. So it is at some point give you a logical reason for buying that product. If dentists, for example, most dentists are using that product, why don't you? Okay, so reasons or logics to persuade you to buy the product, and that's what we call as logos. Okay, now for the last one, which is ethos. It is an appeal to credibility or character. So the company tends to convince you that they are more reliable, honest, and credible. Therefore, you should buy their product. Okay, and often they use celebrities or a persona to endorse a product to let it more credibility. Like for example, Catherine Zeta-Jones makes us want to switch to T-Mobile, or I don't know, Shahrini is using this compact powder. Why don't you? Okay, so something like that is an ethos strategy to persuade the customer to buy the product. Okay, so in summary, we have ethos, we have logos, and we also have pathos. So now, what do you think of this strategy over here? This is the picture that I've shown you in the beginning of our video. Sony, any television can change channel. This one completely changes television. What strategy do you think that the advertiser use for this ad? And I also want you to give your reasons. We will discuss about this in our practicum session. But for now, I want you to answer it in your notes. Okay, so grab your pen and your notes and answer this in your notes. And now we are also going to, you are going to practice classifying whether this is pathos, logos, or ethos. Again, I would like to summarize that pathos is something related to emotional, and then logos related to logics, and ethos related to personal, or someone endorsing something. Okay? Now for the grammar discussion for this week, we are going to talk about the sentence structure. The sentence structure that we are discussing is going to be 4 types, okay? In English, we have 4 types of simple sentence structure. The first one is simple, the second one is compound, complex and compound complex sentence. Now we're going to investigate the difference one by one in the next slide. Now for simple sentence, what does it mean by a simple sentence? A simple sentence is a sentence consisting of only one independent clause. Okay, for example, what does it mean by one independent clause? Is a clause that only has a subject, verb, and the object. That's it. So it's a very simple sentence. So this one has subject, verb, and the object, and then this one is subject, verb, and the object. So mobile people, this is better technology. We are waiting for an innovative solution. Okay, so a sentence that can stand by itself, that's a simple sentence, and it's one independent clause. Now we go on to the compound sentence. So what does it mean by a compound sentence? A compound sentence joins two or more independent clauses with a coordinator such as for, and, but, or a semicolon. So it combines two simple sentences using the coordinator and, or for, or but. Okay, so over here there is an example. Mobile people deserve better technology, and the world will have a better future. So this is one independent clause. Okay, and then this one, the world will have a better future, is actually another independent clause. So it's one sentence and one sentence combined together using the word and. So that is what we call as compound sentence. Now for the next one, you can use this device indoors or you can use it outdoors. So this one is in the one independent clause, and this one is also one independent clause, and then it is combined with the word or. Okay, so we consider this as compound sentence. Okay, now for the complex sentence, what does it mean by a complex sentence? It is a sentence that contains a subordinate clause and an independent clause. So if or there's another word to say, main clause and the subordinate clause. Okay, so this the independent clause can stand by itself like a sentence as normal, but the subordinate clause is indicated with the word after, since, although, because, as you can see over here. Okay, so for example, Toyota makes trips easier because it has features no other cars have. So what we call as independent clause is this one. This sentence can stand by itself because this is the independent clause. Okay, but this one, because it has a feature no other cars have, is cannot stand by itself. Therefore we call it as subordinate clause because there is a word because over here. Okay, this because makes this sentence cannot stand by itself. That's why we call it subordinate clause. And this sentence we call as the complex sentence. So differentiate between compound and complex. If compound, the two sentences, if it is separated, can stand by itself. But if it is complex sentence, the sentence when it is separated cannot stand by itself. Okay, so that's the difference between complex and compound. Now the last one is compound complex sentence. So what does it mean by compound complex sentence? It's actually a combination of compound and complex sentence. So it is a sentence that are having two or more coordinate independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. For example, this one, Ranso is the best detergent. Okay, so this is one independent clause. Molto is the perfect match. And is the to indicate that this is a compound sentence, which makes it effective for cleaning and etc. indicates that this is a complex sentence. So this is the combination of compound, as you see over here, and then which makes is the complex. So this is what we call as compound complex sentence. Okay, so that is those are the difference between the sentence structure of simple, compound, complex, and compound complex. I hope this explanation is clear for you. Again, if you have questions, you are most welcome to ask me in the practicum session or in the WhatsApp group. Now we will have the practice. So first of all, what I want you to do, because we are talking about the advertisement, I want you to decide the class of this sentence, whether this is actually simple, compound complex, or compound complex. Okay, so there are three over here. Garmin watch is the solution to watch your time and your exercise. You can spend 2 hours running, or you can simply use your latest gymnastic tool. Nike, the shoe works when you do. Okay, so these are the practice. I want you to decide whether this is actually simple, compound complex, or compound complex. And for the last practice for this week, what I want you to do is I want you to think of one product you want to sell and create a short advertisement mentioning the quality of your product. Do not forget to integrate the strategy into your advertisement using logos, pathos, or ethos. You can always combine these two into one if you want to, but you can always choose only one or two to make it easier for you to understand how to make how to integrate the strategy into your advertisement. I'm actually giving you a strategy, an example over here. There's a picture of a product, and then there's a tagline: X phone is 100% user friendly for newcomers and gadget freak. Okay, and I'm using one of the strategy, but I want you to decide what strategy am I using for this one. Okay, so that practice would bring us to the end of this video. So next week we are going to talk about online market and the grammar point related to it. And here are the references. So thank you very much for watching my video for week 5. I hope to see you in the practicum session. And again, if you have questions, you are most welcome to ask me in the comments, in the groups, or through personal line. Thank you very much everyone for watching my video. I'll see you again later. Goodbye.